Hello, my name is Adrian Flores and I'm part of team number 6. My teammates are Diana Leos, Manuel Velasquez, and Maria Jose Delgado. Along this semester, we have been working with the respiratory system, and in this video, we're going to talk about the 8 phases on programming and how they were implemented with the work that we have been doing. So, in the video, each of the members of the team are speaking, and in the part that they speak is their participation of the work, including the presentation and in this video. With that mentioned, I have nothing more to say, and I just leave you with the video. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first phase of the project was the determination of the problem. So in the first stage, when we made research about the respiratory system, we found out that the most common diseases that are found are principally respiratory diseases. So we began with the idea that we should make a prototype of a robot that will be capable or that will help in medical areas to determine and analyze the conditions of the lungs. So some diseases that take place in the lungs can be prevented or diagnosed before it affects or they begin to get worse and affect more the patient's health.
The phase 2 in a program is the analysis. In this stage, we're gonna analyze the problem and start think about the program to solution the problem. This has 3 sub-stages, that is first understanding the problem, debugging a solution, implementation, and testing. That is when we start to think about the problem and the program we're gonna do about it.
For the third stage, we make like a flowchart where we organize the movements of the robot, how the robot was going to move around or through like the body system, and we create the algorithm, and then we rewrite the algorithm on the flowchart as we see on the presentation. And for the fourth phase, we like create the logic. After we create the algorithm and the flowchart, we make and create the logic where a robot like had the instructions to move to the body system, and we add like the images of the instructions on this presentation.
So the next phase is debugging, and we documented the errors that we did in our PIA, and some errors that we captured is the robot didn't do the spin correctly, so we changed the delay to 2.8 seconds. The movement of the pharynx was changed to 0.8 seconds. The movement of the pharynx was changed to 1 second, and the speed was changed in the axis spin to 15 and 10. The time was adjusted on the spin of its own axis to 3.1 seconds, and we also changed another spin for 3 seconds. We added a move forward command to go back, and the spin time to return was decreased to 0.8 seconds. So in this other phase is the implementation of the program, and in the presentation, as you can see, we added a video of our final results.
Phase 7. Maintenance of a program. Now that the program is done, we have to check out the bugs and some failures that our program has. This phase can also be after the launchment of the program, because in some cases we can find another details that are not completely made after the launch of the program. This phase of the programming, it has to make very often, because maybe something can change or we can find another mistake.
And for the last phase of our project is the documentation. And for the documentation, the most important thing that has to be mentioned is the position of the robot. In our path course, there is an image of the body system. However, in this part of the body, the robot has to be placed in front of the mouth, and a black plaque that is in front of the robot should be able to block the lips of the mouth and should be a little bit rotated to the right side when we are placed in front of the backwards. we should be placed in what will be the head of the body that is in the parkours. So the program should, so the robot does and follows the path that we sketched in the previous stages.
In this stage, I learned about the process of programming and the use of the command while and loop. Also, the critical test of a prototype, and I also learned about how to make more complex programs and more about the respiratory system and make a map that can help a robot to get inside the respiratory system and solve the problem that we chose to solve. I also learned some applications with the while and the loop to make better programs.
So in this stage, I learned about the logic commands and how to use loop, while, and break. We also learned about cyclic programming. In this dia, we use these commands to complete our activities and also use them in our PIA project. We also used these programming algorithms to create flowcharts for the design. We also use the 8 phases of programming in our presentation, and yes.
On this stage, we learn about the programmation of the robot. We also learn how to create a programming language on the logic application. We learn the use of the commands, and we also learn how to work on as a team. We were helping each other. We work together to get our robot done and our programmation done.
For my conclusion in the subject, I wrote that besides the difficulties that we presented in this stage with the programming of the robot, I'm glad that all the work that we have been doing in the previous stages is paying off, and the result, besides not being what we expected since the beginning, is still something that pleases us and leaves us with a feeling of absence, but with a certain feeling of satisfaction that our work is really being completed even in the stage by stage, and I'm really sure that the result that we're going to have at the end of this stage will be really good, and besides not being what we experienced at the beginning, but it will be really good.